In this tutorial, I'm just very briefly going to demonstrate how it's possible to very simply create an assessment with ExamView and then export that assessment, be it a quiz or a test, into the Blackboard 9 learning management system. As you can see here, this is an example ExamView quiz that I've just created. As you can see, it's sitting right within and deployed within the learning management system for an online course. We'll go ahead and click on that just to see what it looks like. This is in essence what students will see when they begin the quiz. And this was a quiz that was created entirely from within initially the ExamView learning management system using W.W. Norton's test bank from America Narrative History 8th edition. So how do we get to here? Very simple process. The first thing that we're going to do is, of course, launch ExamView as I've done here. Now this is the test that I exported. We're going to start with a new test. I'm going to use the quick test wizard. I'm not going to save that old test. We're going to call this example ExamView quiz, and we're just going to call that number 2. Next, we're going to choose a couple of test banks. And next, and let's say we're going to have 20 true false, 20 true multiple choice. I don't really like matching, so we'll leave those alone, and maybe 3 essays. And we're going to build the test up. Now, of course, it's very easy to edit the test that you've created. You can edit individual questions by just double-clicking, and you have a what you see is what you get at text editor there. You can select additional questions from any text bank that you want, and you can create entirely new questions yourself. Very simple to do. We're just going to assume that you have created a test that you're happy with using the very powerful and simple to use editor within the ExamView environment. Now we're ready to export this into the Blackboard format. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to File, and we're going to go to Export. And then we're going to export to Blackboard 7.1 Plus. Now that's going to include 7, obviously, 8, and Blackboard 9 and beyond. So very happy with that. 7.1, we're going to call this example 2. Notice this is saving as a zip file. That's perfectly fine. This is not a typical zip file. You're not going to unzip this. The Blackboard system is going to deal with that zip file. So we're just going to go ahead and hit the export button, saving to our desktop so we know where to find it. We're just going to ask, it's going to ask us a few questions. This is all information that you can plug into the Blackboard system itself, but it's just a little bit faster if you do it now. So let's example ExamView 2. We're going to call this quiz 2. We can provide a description here, some various things if you want the feedback that's included with in the rationale. You can provide that, have that available to students if you want them to see it. If there's going to be images in your test bank, if you've dropped in images using the ExamView software, you can go ahead and you actually have to provide some name. Just a standard, we're going to do images. That's perfectly fine. Then we're going to click OK. Okay, the test has now been exported, so at this point it's time to go into Blackboard. So you find your course. Here we are, and what we're going to do is we're going to go first into, sorry, let's just move this up here. You're going to go into Course Tools, and then under Test, Surveys, and Pools, we're going to select that. Now it used to be in older versions of Blackboard that you would first have to go into your question pool, upload your ExamView test into the pool, and then create a test and do the same process again. Blackboard obviously saw that this was a problem and created a necessary step. So in Blackboard 9, all you need to do is click on Test, and then we're going to click on Import Test, And then finally, we're going to browse my computer. And what are we looking for? We're looking for example 2. That's what we called it. We're going to go ahead and open that up. Now this, again, just to remind you, this is the exported file from ExamView that we just created. Here's the earlier one that I created. This is the one we've just created. And we're going to click Open. And now, finally, we're going to submit. You will hopefully receive a message like this: test import complete. Also very important, Blackboard likes you to click the OK button. Problems arise when you don't. Now, you may see that it's not obvious where that test has gone, and that's because there are so many quizzes that we've created for students that you actually have to go and find all of them. There are actually 3 pages of self-study quizzes that are already embedded in your Blackboard course provided by Norton. So what do? Just click the Show All button, and in alphabetical order your quiz should appear. And as you can see, ExamView quiz number 2. This is the course that we've just imported, and let's take a look at that. We're just going to click on the Edit button, and that's going to show us those questions that we've chosen. And the import, as you can see, was a complete success. Great thing about you have the drag and drop feature within Blackboard. Very, very easy to mix things up. You can adjust the points. All that looks good. Now there's one final step that needs to be completed, and you need to actually, once you've seen that the test is in there, you need to deploy it. How does that work? We're going to go back to the main page, and we're going to go into Course Materials. And what we want to do is we want that test to deploy, say, between, it was covering chapters 3 and 4. We want to deploy after chapter 3 and 4 the content that Norton's provided here. So how do we go about doing that? First thing that you're going to do is you're going to come right up here, and you're going to go to Create Assessment, Test, and then we're going to find example, ExamView quiz number 2 from that these tests. These are all tests that have not been added yet. That's why the one that we've just created has appeared. All the others have been deployed. We're going to submit. And there's no activity. That's okay. We see the little swirling icon up there that tells us that all is well. It's been deployed. We can provide an additional description here. We can provide we can change the name. This is where you provide some additional information. When is this test going to be available? Are you going to allow multiple attempts? Is there a timer? You know, force completion? When should it be deployed? Is there a password? Blackboard is so good at deploying quizzes and assessments. Not so good at creating them, and that's what ExamView is for, but deployment is actually really, really solid with lots of options. Once we've done that, we're going to hit the Submit button. Again, you may wonder, where did it go? And Blackboard, for whatever reason, always drops newly created assessments down at the bottom. But using the drag and drop feature, we can just slowly move that up to where we want it to be. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself. Sometimes you can confuse. Okay, so you can confuse the drag and drop system here. Okay, so right after 3 and 4. Yep.